Alright guys, welcome back. Wanted to again talk about the snowblower. Again, this is the Ariens 28 Professional Hydro EFI. And I kind of wanted to talk about maintenance. Maintenance is so important in maintaining your stuff if you want it to last you a long time. And we wanted to specifically talk about how to do an oil change, but not only just that, but how often to do your oil change. And I wanted to stress, read your manuals, guys. And I say manuals because this comes with two. You got a manual for the blower, and then you got a manual for the engine. And it will give you very specifics, which we'll go over. But the very first step is they want to make sure you start and run the engine for 2 minutes. Start with the cold engine, run it, get the oil a little bit up to temp. So that's what we're first going to do here. We kind of got the door cracked, so nobody says I'm being unsafe. Then we'll just go over some of the tools. Like I said, just read the manual. It's all right here. We have the 420cc. So it's going to be 38 ounces of oil. We're going to run the 530. I got this Amazon Basics stuff. I know some of you guys may say, why are you putting cheap oil in it? Well, this is just the first oil change. And I will again be changing the oil at the end of the season. So that's important. So the only tools you need is a 12 mil wrench, a 16 millimeter wrench, or a 16 millimeter socket. I'm going to choose to use the socket. And the oil catch can. And that's about it. We got about another 60 seconds of letting it warm up, and then we'll go from there. Alright, so we had the engine running for a few minutes. It's nice and warm now. The oil will flow out easier. First step to this, we're just going to take your engine oil dipstick out, and we will place it aside. Don't want to drain your oil with the dipstick still in. Again, this is really pretty simple stuff here. So this is your oil drain chute. You need a 12 millimeter wrench, go like this, and then you just take your 16 millimeter socket and a little tighter than I was expecting. You need this wrench to stop the drain pipe itself from spinning. So that's nice and loose now. Okay. And then you're just going to tip her on back and let your oil drain out. There's not a whole bunch in here. It's a good idea before, if you have the hydrostatic drive, make sure you pull your drive pin so you're able to put the machine in neutral so you can, roll the machine forward or back if you need to. Not the fastest drain in the world, but some very minor metallic swirl to the fluid, but that's to be expected with this break in oil, and there's no oil filters on these, so that's why changing your oil often. The manual is a little bit, not super exact. It just says after the first month. Well, that could be, I probably have 5 or 6 hours on my machine. You could have 10 or 20 hours in the first month, so that's a little bit. All right, so all the oil has drained out. We can see, well, there's just a little bit more. We're really a slow trickle. Like I said, the oil actually looks pretty good. There's some very minor swirl to the oil, but about what you would expect to see after 5 hours on this oil. And actually, this is seeming to get a little bit more out. Let it sit upright. And back down again, gets a little bit more oil, but that, I'm satisfied with the amount we got out of here. And you just take your cap, be very careful not to cross thread it. Take your socket or your wrench. You don't want to put too much torque on this. And again, this is here so the tube itself, see the tube wants to spin. That's it. So the machine is now empty, and I would say probably the most important step is don't forget your oil. So this, like I said, is the 420cc. We can see that again in our user manual. The 306cc takes a quart. The 420cc takes a quart plus 6 ounces. And we're going to be running the 530. Again, it's important. I always think it's best to change your oil at the end of the season when you store your snowblower. You know, when you're running the oil, it gets dirty and it gets full of contaminants. You don't want to store your motor over the winter with the dirty oil in it. So it's very important to have nice, fresh oil. So a quart, if you guys didn't know, is 32 ounces. So to get to the 38, like I said, it's a quart plus a little bit of a splash of oil, quart plus 6 ounces. So here we are at exactly 20 ounces. To use 6, we've got to get it down to 14. So right in the middle of the 12 to the 16. So we're starting at 20, we got to go to 14. And then just check it a few times. That's 2 ounces. A little bit more to go. A little bit more to go. That's it. Exactly 38 ounces of oil. Come over here, and I do believe, the same as John Deere's, you check the oil without threading the dipstick on. It's just you place the dipstick in, do not thread it. We can pull it back out, and we can see that it is right about there. We could check it again. With the clean oil, it's always really hard to see the oil because the oil is so clean. But that time we got a pretty good view on it. It's perfect, right to the line. That's really about it. Make sure you screw your cap back on. Double check if you'd like that your drain plug is tight, yet I know it was. And you can probably just start it one more time to circulate the new oil in it. Running nice and smooth. Having good maintenance will make sure your machines last a nice long time. You get a reliable life out of them. That's really easy stuff, guys. You need 2 simple tools, 2 quarts of oil, and a drain can. You don't need to call your dealer. You don't need to call your dealer to get a job like this done. This is easy. It's good. You know, get some time out in the garage and save yourself a little bit of money. That's what it, guys. Stay in touch. I definitely got some more snowblower videos coming up. We were supposed to have a storm tonight, but it's kind of going out to sea. So we'll just see when the next time we run it. Thanks again, guys. Bye.